Yo, no maniacs. Good afternoon, man. This is Nomad Live, all Bears all the time in conjunction with Sports Zone Chicago and my guy, SuperBack, Shawn Sierra, my other co-host, Keith Harris Jr. Man, welcome to the show, everybody. We got quite a bit to talk about today. We're gonna get into the subject matter of the thumbnail, let the arms race begin. We'll get into what that's talking about there in just a second. But before we get into that, while everybody's trickling into the chat, let's just get around and talk about some, because I think Chris, if I'm not mistaken, let me know that sounds like the Bucks are going to franchise tag Antoine Winfield Jr., who is been heavily targeted in our franchise mode scenarios as a pickup in free agency that some people may want to sign. Me, I think we don't need to sign a free agent of that caliber, of that salary rate. I think a mid-tier guy, if you want to do anything to replace Eddie Jackson, is probably the way to go. I think the guys under him that would probably cost you $8, maybe $10 million is if you want to do that, is the way to go. But also, fellas, I know Eberflus's history in Indianapolis, and one thing he's known for is starting rookie DBs. So, let's just start there, man. Some of the noise going on in free agency, the tag period just started, and it sounds like, per Chris, that Antoine Winfield Jr. is going to get tagged.
That's okay. I'm okay with that. It's fine. There's a lot of free safeties in the draft, and it's okay if you start a rookie free safety. You draft one and you start a rookie because you have veterans throughout the thing. I mean, Tyreek Stevenson is no longer a rookie. All right, he grew up fast last year. He grew up really fast. They picked on him, and rightfully so. You're a rookie. They're going to go at a weak link. You know how we do on a football field. All right, you go after rookies. You go after guys who just come in after a dude got hurt. You find the weak. You try to exploit it. So he grew up fast, okay? And by the end of the season, he wasn't a rookie anymore. He didn't play like a rookie anymore. And then you got Kyler Gordon in the slot, okay? Let's not forget Jalen Johnson. We should end up tagging him again. Kyler Gordon, like we have a lot of guys with a lot of experience, okay? So one rookie, I'm okay with that. I'm more than okay with that. Drafting a rookie and starting them as free safety.
Go ahead, Keith.
Yeah, I agree as well. I don't think there's going to be a major issue. I'm actually I would rather they put a rookie in anyway at safety and spend that money elsewhere, me personally. So I'm okay with that.
Go ahead, Chris.
Well, and I would say that was a report I read off of Florio's site. It's not official, so but it won't surprise me. I mean, I'm a Winfield fan. He's a playmaker. He's got lineage, of course, but and yeah, I was probably one of the ones advocating for us to sign him at the right price. But I don't think. And you're right, Nomad. Eberflus has shown a propensity to not having a problem to starting safeties starting rookies, and that's cool. I just I think if we could pick up somebody mid-level, we're gonna have to draft. I think in my mind 2 safeties, man, because we need to pick up somebody that can spell our strong safety.
Brisker,
Brisker, who has a tendency to get hurt during the season. So, there's that. So it's not official yet, but we're in franchise tagging season.
Well, I'll tell you where my mind is as far as that goes. I think, given like you said, that his propensity, like I'll tell you the perfect example of him starting rookie free safeties. Julian Blackman was a rookie free safety a few years ago when he was there. He started him, and he did well. He was a young rising star. He's probably still on that ascent, and he's a known safety in this league. Will he garner a $20 million contract on the market? No, nope. But he's really good at what he does. But what I'm thinking in my mind, his propensity to do that is he's definitely, in my mind, probably going to draft at least one safety. I think Chris is right. We talked about this before too. Brisker's propensity to get injured a little bit, I think it's worth drafting two safety. If you have enough draft capital, it might be worth getting one maybe mid rounds and maybe a little bit later, 6th, 7th round, get a couple of guys to see if you can fill out the roster and get some depth. But I think, I just think the scenario to me looks like this. They go into free agency and get a mid-tier guy, say a Julian Blackman or Geno Stone, say one of those two guys or something, and then they draft a guy, Shawn, and then let them duke it out, for whoever starts. If you beat the rookie out, you start. You don't beat the rookie out, the rookie starts. I think the way they design the culture of this team, it's all about competition. So I think it likely goes down that road.
Yeah, but also don't forget, even if in the great part, I wouldn't even say if the rookie, compete, but you're going to get time. They're going to rotate. You're going to get, he's not going to play all 100% of the snaps. And then you talked about someone's going to get hurt. This is the NFL. People get hurt. I don't know if people realize that people get hurt. So he's going to get some time, whether he wants to or not, whether he's ready or not. So it's I wouldn't even mind. Competition's cool, good. If you win, rookie wins, good. He plays. All right, veteran wins, good. He starts, but they're all going to get time. And the cool part about it is that you're not putting all of that responsibility as a free safety, as a starting free safety on the rookie, even if he starts, because he's going to rotate. And with the rotation, you're going to have a veteran behind him, critiquing him, helping him out, and helping him get better, as well as his strong and his cornerbacks.
And then too, they showed some confidence in Elijah Hicks last year as well. So, we still got him on the roster, so he's going to still be in the mix as well. So at least somebody that knows the system that can, spell some time at that free safety spot. So we can't count out on Elijah Hicks. He may surprise us.
Yeah, he's an ascending player, man. And Elijah Hicks, I don't want to count him out, man, because I just don't do that, man. Sometimes every now and again I'll see a guy and I'm like, I don't see him getting, I don't see his ceiling going any higher than it is. I can't say that about Elijah Hicks. He's got 2 years under the system, knows what he's doing out there. He's getting bigger, getting stronger. I noticed that last year. And he's not like his rookie year. I saw him, he was making some physical tackles, but it was hurting him, man. It was hurting him good too. And he just wasn't big and strong enough. I think we got him at about 192, 195 pounds. But I think over the last couple of years, he stacked on a few pounds. I expect him to come into camp and compete, man. But I do like the idea of getting your depth layered, man. I think the teams that really win and win on a consistent basis from the starter down to the number 2 guy down to the number 3, you can't really tell a big difference. Like a lot of Ravens, man. They rotate guys in all the time, and you don't see them missing really a beat at all. Whenever somebody goes down, that's how great rosters are built, man. Just through depth, man. The first guy and the third guy shouldn't be a whole lot of space in between as far as the quality, And so that's just what I look forward to in this draft and this opportunity to get in a position to get multiple players in this draft. I expect them to do that to this roster. But let's dip on over to this conversation because what happened probably midday yesterday, about a 16-second clip went on to YouTube. I mean, not on YouTube, but on the Twitter, and kind of blew up Twitter, man. It was a 16-second clip of not Nomad. I was about to say Nomad. JustinFields on the.
What you had for breakfast?
I had nothing. That's the problem. So on the 33rd podcast, who just recently picked up the St. Brown Brothers podcast, which is cool. That's good for them. They're interviewing JustinFields, I think, sometime today. If anybody can find out exactly when that podcast is supposed to debut, I'll be glad to know.
It's supposed to be today.
Just all. That's
no,
all.
He's asking the time. He's asking the time.
Oh, the time.
Yeah. And so the 16-second clip, Chris has got it, and it's just let's just do that right quick, Chris.
Wait, since we're here, hold on.
But I mean,
what's
we're not.
no. Since we're here,
Okay. All right, come on,
what's with the unfollow with the Bears? What's up with that?
man, bro. I'm glad we're talking about it because
Set the Twitter universe ablaze. I think it's going to happen, Shawn and Keith. I think just all you got to do is really think about it, break it down in its simplest form. Number one, Justin's not messy. Number two, he's pretty disciplined about the things he does. I think whatever he says in response to that is just going to be, I don't really handle my social media that much or something like that. It's not going to be what everybody thinks it is. I'll just say that. Well, go ahead, guy.
Shawn, I'm gonna let you go first.
It's I don't think it's too much. There were reports from some people that said he didn't even follow the team to begin with on IG. And then there are other reports that say he did follow the team on IG. It's not a big deal because if it was, he would have wiped everything clean. If he was mad and if he was told by the Bears, which they have every right to do. Hey, we're going to move on from you. We're trying to get a trade from you. Cool. And he's mad. Well, he has every right to wipe clean all the Bears stuff, everything from his social media. Well, he didn't. He didn't. He follows him on Twitter. He's still got I'm a Chicago Bears quarterback, I believe, on his IG. It's just a ploy. All right. I truly believe this is just a ploy. Again, it's chess, not checkers. And he looks too happy. And two, they keep coming out with reports. Albert Breer says the Bears will have this wrapped up by next week. That's not enough time to get your information on Caleb Williams. All right. That's not enough time. All right. It looks like I was talking today on my show and I thought about it like, man, wait a minute. Ryan Poles could go down as one of the best GMs in the history of the NFL. If he trades that number one pick, okay, to Washington. Say we go to Washington. That's what I think. I think Washington's getting that number one pick, for reasons we all know. What if Washington has the worst record next year?
Ooh.
And the quarterback draft class isn't as deep or as talented next year, but someone's going to want a quarterback. Someone's going to want something.
Yeah.
So it's setting up for me to be where Ryan Poles and Nomad, Keith, Chris in the back. How many times we talk about building through the draft? What a way to build your team, but through the draft. And now you might have the number one overall pick again if he goes to Washington, and then they have a crappy record and they have the worst record in the league. Man, if it falls that way, there's a lot going to happen now. We don't even know what's happening this year, but I'm just saying that possibility is there. And you don't think Ryan Poles is salivating at the mouth if that happens? Ooh, Charlie, man. So we're talking 2 first-round picks in 24, 25, 26, and maybe 27. Come on, man. You don't get much better than that. And I go back to I think I said it yesterday. I go back to the 90s, man. I don't think, despite the fact that he has a gold jacket, I don't think that Troy Aikman is a game-changing quarterback. You know why he won Super Bowls? Eric Williams, Larry Allen, Nate Newton, Stepnoski, Michael Irvin, Emmitt Smith, Alvin Harper, Brent Novacek, Russell Maryland, Leon Lett. Should I go on and on? That's why they won the Super Bowl. And Ryan Poles is doing that. I truly believe he's building a phenomenal team. And Justin's going to be the captain of that ship.
And so let me ask a question, man, because I think I kind of alluded to this yesterday, but I don't think we touched it enough, man, because this is me, three-dimensional chess in my head of what I think Ryan Poles could be thinking. Could he get Justin to go along with something like, hey, man, do me a favor, man.
Yeah, of course he can,
bro.
I'm
going, Shawn? Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh,
embellish, bro.
Listen, Ryan Poles has had, the one thing that Ryan Poles that we know is he's very communicative. He will talk. There's no, when you're in his circle, he talks to the media a lot more and very, very open and honest about his moves.
He and Justin communicate often too, man.
Yes. And so remember last year when they asked him, he said, yeah, me and talk all the time. You think that's going to stop? You think it's going to stop this year? No, it's not going to stop this year. As a matter of fact, it probably increased Justin knows what's happening. Justin and his people know exactly what's happening. They just gotta stay calm because he's telling them, look, I'm playing chess. To drive this value up, everyone needs to think that I may take it. So that conversation's been had already. Okay, it might have happened on their exit interview. You know what I mean? Or maybe even during the season. Maybe like we know we're comfortable with you. We want you here. We're blah 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 blah. You got to go along with this, Justin. What I always call him, good soldier. Just like, oh, I bet, cool. You know, and it makes sense. It's all a game. It's the NFL is entertainment. Okay, and again, what did I say yesterday? And I've said it on this one of my shows and my other show. Dude, Ryan Poles is putting on a clinic on how to be a GM clinic.
I gotta agree. I definitely have to agree. But I was doing some self checking again, and I went and checked his IG. Still got Chicago Bears in his bio. All pictures are up, so I don't know where they're coming with this. Other than like I said before, he never followed them in the first place. But even if he did, I mean, this is making out for some really hot, juicy, you know, off season rhetoric, rumors, whatever you want to call it. But to imagine this, man, no matter what channel you go on that's talking sports, Justin and the Chicago Bears is not the number one, the number two topic right now.
Oh, it's
So so this way, the value of that pick is still going up. But more importantly, like I said before, it's not just the first that first pick. It's what you do with the picks after the trade up is done or the trade down for the Bears is done. What other picks are you going to get out of that? And I see the mathing to the point where next year alone, the Bears could possibly have three number one picks. No, I mean first round picks. But like you said, Shawn, it's very possible that Washington could be the worst team in the NFL next year, and the Bears end up with the number one pick 3 years in a row. That would be crazy.
Dude, we'll have at least 15 players from that one pick. Easily
Yeah.
15 players from one pick. So
Hey guys, I've got a question for you. I was thinking about this last night. Say for instance, we keep Justin, trade the pick for a haul. If Justin doesn't improve at all, given the talent we could add with draft picks and free agency, could we still win it if he doesn't improve at all?
well, just real quick, Chuck. Yeah, Ryan Poles did call me back, and we were on a conference call, me, him, and JF1. So, yeah, he's playing on the lakefront. That's where they're playing. So, and that's where the Bears. They haven't started a new stadium yet. So Justin will be on the lakefront next year as well. So,
I think
He texted me.
Chris just said. Let me tell you something, man. I think what your average Bears fan, the average guy on Twitter, oh, he never throws for 300 yards. He haven't had a 350-yard game, all that kind of stuff. I think that's the margins that people set on for their expectations of what makes a good or great quarterback is silly. I mean, that's just you in your mind of what you think you expect for a quarterback to be for uh, uh, what's his name? Matt Eberflus. It could be, hey, 200, give me 250, 230, 250. Don't throw any picks, run the damn ball, and don't turn the ball over.
60, 80 with your feet, with your legs.
Yeah. I
I
mean,
mean,
that
that
adds up.
that whole
So
300
that's a
yards
yes.
thing.
I
That
think
would be a yes
he'll
from
be
you.
just fine, man. He doesn't have to
Yeah.
throw leaps and bounds and start throwing regular 400. I mean, if you get some of those, that would be great. You take what the defense gives you, but I think all the expectations are he's need to be a Pro Bowler and all this. Not that's just people
Look, man,
want
how
to
many
And
how,
and,
how
and,
many how many times have we seen guys throw for over 300 yards and still lose a football game?
too many times 400-yard games.
yeah, I I want to say that I do believe Justin's going to continue to grow. I
He
mean,
will.
he's still only 25 starting the season. So, but I just thought about that. I thought there's really no way you can justify turning down that the potential haul that's going to come with him. Even if you know what you got at this point with no improvements, I still believe that Justin Fields, as he stands today, with the right players around him, can still take you where you need to go.
Just for a real quick, let me pause for this right quick. David Montgomery has showed up to the show today, a la Don Burr. I know his dictation anywhere. Don Burr's trying to hide all those lumps he got on his head from the playoffs, and he's knotted up good, man. Just like on Martin, he's knotted
Pumpkinhead.
I have a question.
Notice that, Don, man. What's wrong with you, man?
Maybe Don Burke can answer this question for me. You guys are in Detroit, but how did y'all come up with Honolulu blue for a color? Explain that to me. What does Hawaii have anything to do with Detroit?
He ain't got no good answers for that, man. But he thought he can get away with coming in here being David Montgomery. Don, you got to know I know your dictation anyway, man. So don't even try to. You got knotted up, man. You've been healing, but I can still see the knots, man.
Man, that pumpkin head was serious, baby.
Yeah, man. Hey, man, let's get into what we came here to talk about, man.
Let's do it.
Because we had this conversation slightly yesterday about potential moves at defensive end. I spent a lot of time on this last night, really thinking about this, and this is why I think they may take the big swing at Danielle Hunter. It's because when your competition, and they are Detroit, as much as I hate to admit it, they are the NFC North champs. Even though we beat the snot out of them, we just lost
twice.
Yeah, they are the NFC North champs, and we have to dethrone them. And what you don't want to see happen is a guy you can put on your team, and you may not in a normal season, all season, you might not have wanted to spend this money on another defensive end. But I know for sure, you damn sure don't want your top opponent to get that dude and get stronger, man. That's just mismanagement by ryanpoles, in my opinion. So I'm gonna be quite frank with you. I think they do take a run at Danielle Hunter, man, just because you don't want your stiffest competition to get him. What do you guys think?
I think that's very possible. What is going to be the price tag for him is the question.
Probably about 18.
Okay.
I don't see it.
Maybe.
Oh, sorry.
No, Shawn, I'm with you. I just maybe, but Poles being Poles, he'll probably try to find maybe a mid-level guy, or for that matter, fill that spot with two guys to get the same production, and still save money. So I just don't. If it's 18 mil or more, and again, we still got the question of JJ. Right now, I'll say I don't see it.
I think you had to think. I think you have to think in terms, because you got to imagine what this comes down to inside of Hallis Hall. They're gearing up for combine right now, but they know, looming right around the corner. You say you're gonna win the North and never give it back. You got to start making moves like that, and that means at times you have to get guys so that your biggest opponent doesn't get them. Imagine what happens if they get Danielle Hunter and we don't. They tilt the scales. And so inside Howard's Hall, I can imagine them being in conflict, like, we wanted to do this or that, but we can't allow Detroit, because rumblings are, man, I'm searching high and low for what Detroit's talking about doing in the offseason. It sounds like they want to make a strong run at Danielle Hunter.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if that's the case, then if they get Danielle Hunter, then we definitely have to use that number 9 pick on the DN.
Yeah, but that means we're keeping Fields, because you're not paying all that money. We've already made a big swing with Sweat last year. You're not going to pay this big free agent money to another guy like that and have a rookie quarterback and have first 2 years of that quarterback's, you know, time. I mean, basically wasting money. So I say it truly means that that's another sign that you're keeping Fields. He ain't coming here to mess around and wait for a rookie to develop.
True.
Well, I see a world where they have to make. I think it's a tough call, man. I think it's probably tougher than they think, and than they thought it would be. Because you got to look at it in its simplest terms. Your stiffest competition is Detroit in the North. You got to win the North to get out of here. And if you let them tilt the balance a little further than what you can deal with, man, you talking about Daniil Hunter, and you talking about what's that kid Hutchinson on the other side coming after Justin Fields, man. You got to think about it in that term. Think about what it looks like on the field. Think about it in the game, and think about the opportunity you have sitting in front of you to get this guy, so that they don't do that. Not to say that there are other guys in free agency that can probably bring similar results. You know what I mean? Because you got Chase Young that's going to be out there. You may have Brian Burns that's going to be. I don't know. He could get franchise tag, but I think this opportunity that presents itself, I don't think. I'm just being honest with you. If I'm the GM and I'm the coach and I'm talking to the coach, I don't think you pass this up.
Well, if you're talking about the stiffening up of the competition in the NFC North, does Minnesota really let him get away?
No, they can't sign him. They're rebuilding. He's a luxury they can't afford right now.
Mm-hmm.
They're
Well,
rebuilding.
I think since they signed him last year, I think it's stipulated in his contract he can't be franchised.
Well, I just think they're in rebuild. I think they wanted to be in rebuild since they got that GM, and I think the ownership. From what I understood, I watch all these different NFC North podcasts from time to time, and the word is that the GM, when hired, wanted to come in and tear it down, and the ownership wouldn't let them, and so they went into the season, you know, kind of knowing that they needed to tear down the GM anyways, and they played the season. So they know now that they have to tear it down and start rebuilding. In fact, there's rumblings that Justin Jefferson may go on the market, so they can really go in earnest in that rebuild. So Daniil Hunter is like Khalil Mack when Poles got here. He's a luxury, but a luxury you in no position to really be paying right now. That's the way
Okay,
I
now
see the situation.
you just dropped something, Nomad. If let's just say if Justin Jefferson hits the market, me personally, I'd rather us take a swing at him.
Yeah, but it's when you say hits the market, that means trade. They're going to trade him. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
it's not going to be like
Free
you
agent.
talking about getting in the conversation on a trade. I mean, I
Yeah,
don't
why would they do that with a division foe? You know what I mean?
right.
I'll tell you what, if they
Well,
if
they
they
did
did
it. Well,
talk to us,
they did it with Detroit. They did a trade with Detroit. So maybe
yeah,
they don't fear. Maybe they don't fear us because maybe they thinking that we're gonna take a rookie as well. Who knows? But
no,
I mean,
they see where
those,
we're at. They see where we're at. I mean, you're right, they did, but I think they see where we're at. And I think, I mean, imagine, and yeah, we'd have to give up probably a first for him. But now you acting. So hold on. So
we definitely
now you're
keeping
saying,
Justin.
so now you're saying you got Justin Fields, you got DJ Moore, you have whoever we draft this year, and you got Jefferson.
I don't know that they would spend that money, man, because they have other. I don't think they go after Jefferson. To be honest with you, as enticing as that might be, I think the receiver class coming out this year is too good. I think otherwise, if this was a subpar receiving class coming out this year, I think what you're saying, Keith, is absolutely applicable.
Well,
You
the
go
only
directly after
the,
him, but because that receiver class is so strong, I like my chances over here in the draft as well.
no, I hear you. But the only reason I threw that out there is because while he was injured last season, he put out there that quarterback that he would love to play with is Justin Fields.
You did say that.
So that's the reason I just threw that out there when you dangled that carrot out there about it's a possibility of him, possibly hitting the market. Then guess what? Hey, I,
I'll, All I
He,
know,
if you go after him, that he is a first round pick for a wide receiver.
But yeah, I hear you. But truth be told, if this guy, because it probably won't happen this year. So what'll happen is we'd get our another receiver this year, maybe even two, and we might not even need him. And I know it's tough to say you don't need a Justin Jefferson, but sometimes just because you add talent to a team doesn't mean it's always going to fit. Doesn't mean it's going. You can't keep adding number one receivers. I don't think DJ Moore would be bitching and moaning about not getting the ball, but maybe Justin Jefferson will. Maybe you know what I mean. You don't just keep adding, especially with a position that's stacked. Like Justin Jefferson used to be the number one. Is he okay with being a number two, or will he be a number one? I mean, what if we get Marvin Harrison Jr. and now Marvin Harrison Jr. Has a great first year. You know what I mean? Like I think as much as I love it, I think it might be overkill.
let me add this to the conversation, and this is something I may or may not have approached this conversation before, but I remember when Javon Dexter and Zach Pickens was coming out, and I had this argument many times over on the bar room, many times. I was still at the bar room when those two guys were getting ready to come out, and I kept hearing round and round and round. This is a weak defensive tackle class. There hardly no three techs and all this kind of stuff. I'm like, well, I don't know what tape you guys are looking at. In fact, to me, I thought that this was one of the top positions in the draft. So I clearly, when I was on the bar, anybody that knew me when I was there, I let people know on a regular basis that is the thickest position in the draft. In fact, I said when I was there that's the position. If you want to double dip at a position that's strong enough, that's the position that you double dip in, defensive tackle, as you're building your team. And that's exactly what they did. They got two defensive tackles. Same thing here in the receiver class. I think the receiver class is that strong. And so if you have a need and there's an opportunity to double dip, I think you go to that position and you double dip. You get two receivers. I think it's that, man. I think Justin Jefferson is probably one of the top three most talented receivers in football. I don't think Justin Jefferson is having the same career with not being with Kirk Cousins. If he was anywhere else, let's just say he was drafted down there with Baker Mayfield in Cleveland, he wouldn't be having the same career. I think the dude is super talented. In my opinion, I don't think you make a run at him, even though he might be just that talented.
Yeah, makes sense. Everyone's got a role, and
Yeah.
everyone's got and guys got egos, so it
And you
makes
got to
sense.
pay him.
True, that's another thing. So you as much as I'd love to see that, it truly doesn't make sense financially to to go that route. So
Jay Sanders, man, cut it out. Justin Jefferson getting old. Man, cut it. What are you talking about, man? He's only been in the league a few years, man. He's not getting old, man. But yeah, let's talk about, because Detroit, the way I think I seen somewhere where Detroit had 50 million in cap. And so for a team that level of talent and that built out of a roster, that's almost dangerous for them to have that much money to spend in free agency, man. What do you guys think?
They're at 53 million.
53 million. Ooh,
I was just trying to look that up. Okay.
yeah, so
Yeah,
you
'cause I
got
think
room
we
for
had the fourth most cap space
Mhm.
ourselves. So
And we're at 70.
Well, I think
they
I
say
think
70, and in some spots I saw where they said we like 64.4
Yeah,
million.
you'll see varying reports. It's in that
Yeah.
60 to 70 million.
So what do you guys think about? I mean, what's your thoughts, man? Who do you, Keith and Shawn, who do you guys look at as the top pick in the out of the free agent DNs there? If it was one guy to get, you got potentially Brian Burns, you got potentially Daniil Hunter, you got potentially Chase Young. Who are you targeting and why? If you had to make one pick,
I like Burns myself. I like Burns. I'm skeptical of Chase. Now maybe pairing Chase back with Sweat and him getting a fresh start per se, and getting away from the debacle that possibly could be going on in San Francisco. Who knows? He's still young enough, and but if I went with Chase Young, it would definitely be no more than a 3 year deal. No more than a 3 year deal. With an out after the second year. Honestly,
Go ahead, Shawn.
I don't know, and here's why. I don't know if there was, you know, they have the number one overall pick, as we all know. What if they've already started talking with Washington? What if that deal is pretty much done? See, because if you do that and you get Brian Burns, well then I think you need to. There's a whole bunch of things. Obviously he's got a nice, sizable contract. Who did I say? Deron Payne. I said Bryant Young. Did I say Bryant Young? I thought I did.
You said Brian. I don't know what you said.
I thought I said
there was a Brian in there though.
it might have been Bryant Young. I think it was
Who we talking about? Deron Payne. You still
Deron Payne. I would, or Jonathan Allen. Like one of those guys could be in that package.
I would like Jonathan Allen in that package.
Those are inside guys. We talking about.
No, I hear you, but it's not the position. It's the contract. That's the issue. Because you still you know what I mean. You still got to sign JJ. So that's going to affect how the caliber of defensive end. And truth be told, if you increase the talent on the inside, yeah, you can draft a rookie. You could draft a rookie defensive end. All right, because it's going to help him out a lot. Because who are you going to double team at that point? You got to double team Billings because you can't have the quarterback, being introduced to Billings all game. You're going to double team Sweat too. You can double team Allen too. I mean, that's 6 guys and that's only 3 of the 4 defensive linemen. So there's going to be a lot of mismatches on there. So, but if I had to say, I would go the mid-tier route. Like the Espinoza, and then draft one. That's where I would go. But Espinoza would be good. It's a nice guy familiar with the system, a guy familiar with his defensive line coach. Yeah, I'd do that, and draft the defensive end. But he'd probably be the one I'd go after. The other guys are just too much.
Okay.
So they could take the route of this is my conventional way of thinking before I really put some thought into it last night, and I just got to watching some Detroit news and reporters, their podcasts and all this kind of stuff, and they're hearing that that the Lions want to target Danielle Hunter. That changed everything to me because I just believe the level of competition makes a difference. You know what I mean? And in the NFC, the parity. I mean, in the NFL, the parity is really even. A team like, let's say, your Washington Commanders can jump on the San Francisco 49ers on any given Sunday and give them hell. That's just how the parity of the NFL works. Any team, any given Sunday could jump on you. And so now with that kind of parity in the league, there are certain players that produce a certain amount that can really tilt your scale. And I think Danielle Hunter is that kind of guy. And I just know I don't know exactly what they're going to do, but I know this conversation has to be had in Hallis Hall. What's the risk of us not going after this guy? I know we wanted to get AJ Epinesa. We might have wanted to go after Leonard Floyd or a couple of other guys out there, Bryce Huff or whoever it is. But what is the risk? What risk are we taking by allowing Detroit to get this level of talent on the other side of Hutchinson? That's almost too risky, in my opinion. In my football judgment, I think it's way too risky.
Well, now let's talk about this then. I hear you talking about the importance of Danielle Hunter, but let's put the emphasis back on our defensive line. What if either Javon Dexter emerges as that 3 tech for us, or we go after somebody who we can put in that slot to really be that explosive 3 tech? Now you can go back. I know again he's not good at setting the edge, but if he's healthy, you can throw another 1-year contract at Ngakoue.
Nah, man, I don't.
I'm with Shawn in regards to we got to be mindful of the finances,
Yeah.
and we got to spread that around some. Me personally, I want them to keep JJ. We get that 3 tech solidified. That's gonna help out our D ends also,
That's that
regardless of who we have.
all of that is true, Keith. But I think it's about the level of risk, man. I mean, Javon Desser can turn out to be the best 3 tech in the NFC North next year. He can flash like that's one thing. But if you allow somebody that produces to the caliber of Daniil Hunter, your stiffest competition, to really tilt the scales of kind of justice, if you would say that, I think that's not doing due diligence because you got to get through these guys. If you ever want to do anything, you got to get through these guys, and you just sit there and allow them to get somebody of that caliber when you had to. And that might mean you may have to franchise tag Jalen or trade him, if that means that. But if you let them get a guy of that caliber and you want to beat them and win the North, you just did yourself a disservice.
Yeah, I don't agree with that, dog. Here's why. The finances play it. So if you say you franchise Jalen, all right, was it 18 mil, the cornerback, 20 mil? All right, what's the cornerback? Anyone know the franchise tag?
It's 18, Shawn.
Okay, so 18. So Daniil Hunter's going to want 20 starting.
I don't know about that.
That's 38 to 40 million right there. We only got $50 million in cap space. What about our two first round picks we got to get? What about a second round pick? If we trade out of that, we got to sign a second round pick. Now we got to cut more people. I don't want that is going to take up too much of our cap. Daniil Hunter. And I get it. Believe me, I wanted him initially. I did. Remember one of the first shows last week, I was like, man, I want Daniil Hunter. But then you got to look at the finances, unfortunately, and how to and it's not even on a budget because you got to be smart. You got to be frugal, right? Because you still have these guys to sign. You still have, all these other draft picks. I mean, if we trade back, we're getting more draft picks. Right? I mean, you got to pay those guys. So that he just wants too much. He's going to be too much money, unfortunately, for us to go after. Because he's going to want that over the years. Like, he's not going to say, all right, I'll take 20 and then give me 8 next year. No, he's going to want 20 plus.
Shawn, all I know is if you allow him to go up north, you got to deal with that for the next 3 years.
And you know what? And sometimes you have to, bro. Sometimes you have to.
Spot Track's got a market value of $20 million, and I think we're going to have about $14 million in our draft pool to start. Now that could go up if we add more picks. So we're probably, as it stands right now, we'd probably be around anywhere from 50 to 55 million after our draft pool is accounted for. And I'm going to be honest with you guys. I'm still having Daniil Hunter nightmares. So if we can get him at 20, and I know it's not something they normally put that much money in the edges, man, that'd be hard because the dude is just, to me, he's the surest thing in the draft. I mean, in the free agent market right now.
Yeah.
He's aside from even you talk about Jonathan Gennard from Houston, who is, with 12 and a half sacks last year. He had 8 2 years ago. That would be a nice piece, but he's got injury concerns. Epinesa, I get that, and I'm not opposed to that. Actually, if we don't sign a Daniil Hunter, I would hope that they would go out and get Epinesa with the understanding that we might draft somebody early, Jared Verse, to come in and groom. So, there's that.
So I knew coming into the show, I knew that it would be a contentious conversation. For some reason, the Bears fans get fiscally conservative and it ain't none of our money, but that's just how we think. You know what I mean? It's just some things come down to principle, man. It comes down to principle. I'm sure the Bears would love to go the route of drafting and get mid-tier guys in free agency and roll with that, and you can get production, but it's just when I think about it, I'm thinking about on that football field and knowing what I'm going to have to deal with if you let that guy go to this wrong team. We got to get out. We got to get past Detroit at some point. They're holding the crown. We got to take it. how much of a favor are you doing yourselves? I mean, I know this is a little heated debate, but man, I had to think about it in those terms for me to get to where I'm at. Now, I could very well be just like any of you two guys, and be like, you know what, we can handle this in the draft and mid tier and free agency. But my good judgment says I don't think that's the smartest move.
I mean, looking at the. I mean, I could see possibly working though, Nomad. I just checked the projection for the 2025 because the salary cap for 24 is 243, around 243. All right, the projection for 2025 is 280, 282.
Ooh.
So
That's the new TV money.
Right. So we might be able to envelop that and deal with that and still, pay our 2 first rounders, which we're going to get. Yeah. It's possible. It's possible. Again, because of that big, almost $40 million increase from 24 to 25. That's, because if you give them 20 across the board for all intents and purposes, or you front load it 25, 20, boom, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Then your cap next in 25, your cap space goes down. I mean, your cap hit goes down because you're paying them less. So it's possible. It's possible now that I looked at the numbers. It's very possible. I may be back on to get the Neil Hunter train soon.
So Shawn, do you guys think now? I think a GM has to look a few years down the line at least. When it comes to budgeting and signings, and
of course,
all that kind of stuff. Now think about what just happened last year during the draft. They doubled down on cornerback, knowing that we reached this point with Jalen Johnson. Could they have considered that we may want to go after another high-end free agent in that offseason? And if we can't get to the number that we want to with Jalen Johnson, we may have to let that go. And we covered ourselves in the draft with getting a couple of corners.
Yep, that's something I've said as well on my show, on my other show. Yeah, if Jalen wants record-setting money, let him walk. You just got Terrell Smith, is it, from Minnesota? So you got him as cornerback. He got a lot of reps this year, right? Jalen, especially the last couple of games. Well, Jalen missed the last game, but he was out a little bit. Tyreek Stevenson was out. And now it's just time to step up. And I think that's exactly what Ryan Poles did, is insulate himself with the possibility that Jalen Johnson doesn't want to sign here. Well, then, yeah, we have another guy who'll be a sophomore, a second-year player, but he does have a lot of reps. He did get a lot of reps in his first year. So, yeah, it's possible.
All right. Let's go to Chris, if you don't mind, to pull up the station ID, man. We'll get right back to this on the other side, man, because this is a hell of a conversation. It's worth having because free agency is just really right around the corner, and there's decisions to be made, man. But go ahead with the station ID, Chris, if you don't mind.
The best Chicago Bears content anywhere. Catch Nomad live pregame 1 hour prior to kickoff, and Nomad at night postgame, and every Friday evening at 7 p.m. Central on all the most popular streaming platforms, and only on the Nomad Network.
That's right. Do me a favor, Shawn. Did you find out how many subs you had?
Yeah, it was yesterday. As of yesterday, it was 440, and that jumped from before because I remember 3 something as well from last week. So it's jumping. It's
okay, guys. Let's take a small bite at it this time, Shawn. Let's see if we can run you up to 500 by the end of the week. How about that, fellas? Can we get Shawn up to 500 subs by the end of the week? That's not too hard to ask, man. Maybe 40-something people go do some extra email accounts, man, and get him on up to 500. Let's just try to get him there by the end of the week. Sports Zone Chicago, good guy Shawn, the SuperBack Sierra, man. I want him to be successful as much as I want us to be successful over here. So the love and support is real. Do him that favor and go over there. Let's get him up to 500 by the end of the week. By the time we do Friday's show at 3 o'clock, I'd love to come on this show, Shawn, and tell these people that you have 500 subs, and then we start moving to the next goal.
I'd appreciate that, folks. Yeah, that's increments, baby, increments. And yeah, if we can get me up to 500, that'd be dope. It's not that, like I said, we're not asking a lot, so let's do it. Let's see if we can just get it done.
And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Anybody that's new to this show, welcome to the family. Anybody watching for the first time, welcome in. We're family around here. Make sure you subscribe for us, man. That will show us a whole lot of love. Hit that like, and please, one thing I've been wanting to ask anybody in the chat that follows me on Twitter, do me a favor. Don't let me be the only one and Keith Harris Jr. be the only one sharing
Thanks,
the
Frank.
content. Please share the content. Please, 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 please share the content on any platform that you choose. It just helps us get out there. The more eyes and ears we get on the show, and Shawn and I, the both networks will benefit from it, man. We just draw more people. And so just please do me a favor and share that stuff. I'd love to see our content be out there on Twitter multiple times from multiple people. That's how you grow your channel. But
come on, guys. Remember now, because we are family.
That's right. That's right. We got it. And sometimes, man, this conversation I knew would start a tug of war today because, again, man, we treat the Bears franchise like it's part of ours. And so we think about it in that way. The same way you would be in your home being fiscally smart and fiscally conservative, you think about the team that you love in the same kind of way. You might want to take the cheap way out, but sometimes you can't. Sometimes you can't. You can't always keep the player that you want to keep because of the situation that, it presents itself. I just think, and I could be totally wrong, but I don't think this is going to be a light negotiation period come free agency. I think, what is it, March 12th, 13th or something like that. I think it's going to get heated. And I think that's the position of contention is going to be DN, because this class of free agent DNs it's more superior than days past that I'm used to seeing. So I think it's worth having. I think you do take the big swing just to keep Detroit from getting simple as that.
I do real quick. Jose, if you have a Roku TV, you just got to add a channel and just type in Sports Zone Chicago. It'll come up. All right, it'll come up. Vince said put Shawn's channel up. But anyway, Sports Zone Chicago. You see the logo is in the upper left hand corner. Okay, Sports Zone Chicago. If you have a Roku TV, just go there, add a channel, start typing Sports Zone. By the time you get to the S or hit the Z, Sports Zone Chicago will come up. It'll be that logo, and you can download it and you can watch us. We should have all this figured out by next week. So my shows will be on there, but also this show will be on Roku as well.
Shawn, what'd you say? Wherever you get your apps, Montgomery Wards.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where you get your iTunes, Google Play, Amazon, Walmart, Kmart, 7-Eleven, Zayre, Zemsky, Macy, Montgomery Ward, Woolworth, Goldblatts. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Just go there and type in Sports Zone Chicago, download it, take us with you on the go.
It's worth downloading it just to hear you do that, man.
Goldblatts, baby. Goldblatts.
Can you go up to Montgomery Wards and get a banana split at the counter and a malt shake or something?
Yeah, and where you can, and if you service merchandise too, if that's where you get your apps from.
Boy, you went way back.
And somebody said today, someone said, man, he goes, I used to work at Gold.
And Zayre's. Remember Zayre's?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I used to work at service merchandise for 2 days.
Damn, they fired you, man.
No, I slid right out the door.
All right, fellas, before we wrap this up, man, let's go around the horn real quick. Give some shout outs and some thank yous or whatever you want to do on the way out. Keith, we'll start with you, man.
All right, well, to our No Maniacs, thank you again. We really do appreciate you guys, supporting us each and every day. Thank you for, getting in the chats and making everything interesting in the chats. Great questions, great debate. Shawn, as always, brother, love being on the show with you every day. Nomad, my man, Chris in the back. I appreciate you all. I'm going to get out the way. Let Shawn do his thing today.
Hey guys, thank you again for tuning in. And I see a few people. Some people signed up recently. They subscribed to the YouTube channel recently. Um, Someone said they're doing it. They're doing it now. Where goes
There
one
goes one. Yeah.
was
Right,
one. Someone else said they did it. It did it last week. You know what? I appreciate it. I truly appreciate it. It gives us a lot more flexibility when we go to advertisers and we get some, we can get some money. We can give you better content. We can give you better, a lot more clips, a lot more good stuff. All right, you guys like this channel. We love giving you this channel because it's definitely a different point of view, a fresh point of view. We're not just not sheep over here. We have our own thoughts, even if they are contrary to popular media and the mainstream. It's not what we care. We're football guys. We don't care about mainstream. We care about what's the best interest for this Chicago Bears franchise. So, and we're definitely not going to tell you. So, thank you again for the for subscribing, and please, if family, friends, brothers, sisters, let them know, have them subscribe as well, because we're gonna keep doing some really cool stuff over here, and I got some cool stuff with my network as well. Man, I'm fired up, man. I was talking to Nomad yesterday. I sent him some stuff, ideas, some artwork, and I'm just fired up. This collaboration that we have, because it's really really good.
Amen, man. Hey, thank you guys once again for coming and being good people and good spirits and being, I know this was it was a controversial subject to talk about when it comes to the financial part of it because, everybody has their own minds about which way they think the Bears should go with here or there. Me, in my opinion, because it's strong and because I have a strong presence, man, I'm not trying to drown out anybody else's way of thinking. When I get in a certain way about something and I get a conviction about something, my presence just grows, man. My voice gets bigger and all that kind of stuff. It's not malicious towards my co-host. It's just when I feel conviction about something, you're gonna feel me. That's just all it is too. And I do feel
Pause.
hey, you gonna goodness, Shawn. But yeah. But again, thank you for coming to the show. Thank you for all the support. Thank you guys for the new subs, man. We're running them up. Keep Shawn and his running up too, man, because that's what we need to do. We need to get bigger. We need to get stronger. We're getting more attention. We're getting a whole bunch more good guests that want to come on, man. It's just a really good time to be in this Bears podcast industry per se. But we're growing just like everybody else out here. We're young and we're just growing, but we appreciate all of your support.
Yes, we do.
So before we get out of here, I got to leave you guys with these famous words: love, peace, and hair grease, y'all.